Hey yogis, welcome to my channel. My name is Kassandra, and today I'm going to show you one of my favorite ways to work on handstands. So handstands for sure are really challenging, and it took me years to master it, and even then it's something that I still have to consistently work on. There are lots of different techniques and ways that you can strengthen your arms and eventually work your way into handstands. Some are on the wall, some are off the wall. Today I'm going to show you one way to work on it using the wall, and if you guys want more tips and tricks on this and more exercises, leave me a comment below and I'll definitely film those for you. So my favorite way and technique, especially for those of you who are new to handstands and inversions in general, is to practice the L shape at the wall. So what you would do is you would get your mat as close to the wall as you can, just lined all the way up, and then you want to be coming into downward dog with your heels on the wall. So if I'm in downward facing dog, I want to get myself pretty close. So heels are slightly lifted against the wall here. Hands are shoulder width distance apart, and you want to make sure you have the right distance. So normally what I like to encourage is that you want to be able to go into your plank pose without having to readjust your stance. So that to me is a good downward facing dog stance. So for some teachers, they'll tell you to align your heels so the back of them are touching the wall, and other people do it so that the soles of the feet are against the wall. Both are really great methods, so just play around with whatever works well for you. Once you're in this downward facing dog, you're going to lift one foot and place it directly behind your hips until you can find an L shape. So the foot goes behind the hip, and then you're gonna push up against it and then bring your feet roughly at hip height. So what happens is that we're trying to learn what it feels like to get our shoulders over our wrists and to eventually get our hips over our wrists as well. So once you've mastered that, once you've gotten into your L shape and you've been able to hold it for a few breaths, then you need to actually narrow your stance. So the closer in you get, the harder this is going to be, the more strength you're going to need to build up in your shoulders and in your arms. So at first, in our down dog, we started off the same way, but this time walk your hands in a couple inches closer. And then exact same thing, bring your foot up. So one foot up behind your seat and then the other, and then go ahead and push and see if you can straighten your legs. So this is already a lot harder because my shoulders are pretty much over my wrists and my hips are getting pretty close to my shoulders as well. So what you'd want to do from here is work and see what it's like when you extend one leg and hold it up, and then switch the other leg and hold it up. You are definitely going to feel your shoulders start to burn and engage. So give yourself time to come out of it, to catch your breath, to let the blood flow go back down, especially if you're not used to inversions. It might look easy what I'm doing, but I'm telling you, it is really challenging on your upper body. It requires a lot of strength. So we're gonna do it one last time, and this time I'll show you. First, you just work finding that L shape. Then you work on maybe lifting one leg off the wall, and then eventually you wanna see if you can lift both legs off the wall into your handstand. So find that narrower version of downward facing dog, lifting up, one foot behind the seat, then the other, then we straighten, push into your fingertips and knuckles, maybe one foot comes off the mat, and then see what the other toes can do here. So you can just keep playing around with it, working on your balance. So I actually find it very difficult to balance in my handstand from the wall. So I mainly use this drill as a way to build up strength. So especially if you're not used to practicing handstands, you'll most likely feel this a lot in your wrists. So I would recommend checking out my wrist stretches that I have here on YouTube. You could practice this before and after you work on your handstands. I'll link to those down below in the description box. So if you would like more drills and more tips and tricks on how to work on your handstands, there are a ton of different kinds of exercises that you could do. Leave me a comment below and I'd be happy to film some more tutorials for you. But But definitely the L sit at the wall is an amazing technique, especially if you're just starting off. It's going to work on your shoulder strength, work on your wrist grip as well, and then get you comfortable with feeling what it's like to have your shoulders over your wrists, and more importantly, to have your hips over your shoulders. It's not something we're used to doing, and it takes a while to really get used to it. So play around with it. Don't be discouraged if it's challenging at first, and let me know how it goes. Thanks so much, yogis.